Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is Eric, the OBX Picker. I'm here with you today to teach you how to clean silver with household items. We have some tarnished silver that I had picked up from a sale, and I wanted to get this stuff cleaned up in order to resell it. But this also works for household silver if you have some of that needs cleaning. I'm going to try a couple different methods today. One of the key ingredients is aluminum foil. I'm also using an aluminum pan because I want to see how that works in contrast to the aluminum foil. I think it'll work pretty much the same. I'm going to try a couple different methods using these ingredients. First ingredient is baking soda, also regular table salt, and then we have some white vinegar as well that we're going to be using. I'm going to use a couple different methods. Also, you see there on the table that I have just a pot full of water. I'm going to put that on the stove and boil the water using a mason jar as well, just to hold the other method. First thing I'm going to try to clean is this silver spoon. And I'm actually going to go ahead and put my water on the stove to heat to bring that to a boil. And then we're going to start out with the vinegar, a little piece of aluminum foil, and we're going to add baking soda. That causes a chemical reaction. So that's what, in a sense, is supposed to clean this spoon. So we're going to try this initially and see if this method will work for us. See which one will be a little bit more effective than the other. Hopefully they will both work because I really need to get this silver cleaned up. But we try out this, and obviously, just like a volcano as a kid, we had a little extra explosion. Vinegar and baking soda cause that chemical reaction. If you need a science experiment for one of those volcanoes, you just add a little food coloring and you'll have the same effect with vinegar and baking soda. So we're trying that with the spoon and seeing how it works. It's hard to see on the camera, but there is some reaction. I added a little bit more baking soda to get some more reaction. Important thing to do is make sure the spoon is touching the aluminum. Touching the aluminum is always a good thing. Here I'm just trying to clean the spoon with the rag, just washing it off and seeing how effective it is. Now we're going to set that aside and try the second method. So we put a good bit of baking soda in there because I've got several items. And it's important to let the silver touch the aluminum once again. So we're trying that. This is just boiling water that I put in, and that actually just causes the baking soda and aluminum to have a reaction. You're heating that up as well as the silver. This method actually seemed to work pretty well. It worked fairly quickly on these initial items that I put in, this little silver cup and also the creamer. As you can see, there's already a chemical reaction that has cleaned the backside pretty decent with that creamer. And now we're going to put in this little pot from India and a mirror and add a little extra baking soda. If it says to use a little, I always use a lot. Here you can see that the silver cup is already, you can see where the tarnish line is, where it was submerged. So it seems to be pretty effective. So I just pulled the spoon out of the vinegar and added it to the aluminum pan. We're going to go ahead and try to get all these items at one time. So what I'm going to be doing is trying to submerge them. So I'm going to boil a couple more pots of water. And now I did just add a little salt in. That's going to help me later on when I'm cleaning with the rag, just to get some of that crevices cleaned up that are there in the pan. And now we're going to try to flip some of these items over, see how effective it's going. I zoom in just so you can see the difference with the line where it was submerged and where it's not. And that's kind of what I'm showing you there, is just seeing how effective that was. It seems to be pretty effective. It seems to be doing the job. We're going to add a little bit more hot water here. I've brought that to a boil. So that's where we're going. And I'm going back to fill again. So we're going to add a little bit more baking soda, just because I'm sure it gets diluted. And it is hot, so I'm using the other spoon just to kind of move the items around and just adjust in there. At this point, we've got another pot coming here shortly of boiling water, and try to slide that pan in there as well, the serving tray, see if I can get some work started on that, because that's going to take a little longer to do. So we want to make sure we get all these items cleaned up and ready to use. Guys, if you are cleaning silver at home, I know that there are chemicals that will clean as well, but this is a non-toxic version. It's just using household items, so you don't have to have expensive cleaner, or you don't have to break out any additional products. It is good to use a little brush to get in all the crevices, just to kind of knock out some of the places where it may have not cleaned as effective. Right now we're just waiting on the other pot to boil, so that we can bring that over and try to get those items totally submerged. So we're going to be bringing that pot over and submerging the rest of those items, and then we will see how these things turned out. I know for me, this is actually a fairly new experiment that we're trying here today. I've not done the silver cleaning in the past, so this is something new that I'm trying. I do end up, I'll just give you a heads up, I ended up using the whole box of baking soda, but I know they recommend like 2 tablespoons per 4 cups. But as you can see, I'm using a pretty large pan. So now we're just wiping down and kind of cleaning the creamer here, just giving it a good wipe. There is still a little bit of rubbing required. As you can see, it's getting pretty clean. In comparison to what it was when I put it in there, if you remember, that thing was dark, like the color of that serving tray we see there. And the cup turned out pretty well as well. And this little pot, that is a little silver pot from India. So it had some tarnish there on the top mostly, and the bottom was pretty good. Look at the difference in that spoon. And then also this mirror, you can see me just wiping off the outside, and it looks really good. That had a little grime on the mirror part as well, and I think that was just from laying in the water there. But it turned out really nice as well. There's one more little mirror I need to dig out of there, and we're gonna clean that thing up. And then I'm sorry about this serving tray. I do end up submerging this whole serving tray and putting it down in there good, but unfortunately my camera battery had died, so I didn't get to catch the full action. So if you're looking for a jump cut there, that's exactly what happened. So I just pull it out and wipe it down. As you can see, that water is pretty dirty after all that, so we're going to go ahead and dump that in the sink. I am working off my kitchen table, and you can see some of the grime there on the side where I'd wiped down some of those items. So here our end result is the silver looking like silver and not like tarnish. So once again, we use table salt, baking soda, and boiling water was the most effective method for me. I know other people have used the other. And here's our before shot of those items, and then we're going to come with the after shot. So, man, they look brand new.